Our vision is to double our membership, one precious individual at a time by 2020, in communities or people groups of 20,000 people or more, where there's no Adventist presence in our conference. This is a God-sized dream, and He can only do this through you, through me, His instruments. Part of the Potomac Conference vision is to create healthy disciple-making churches where pastors and laity alike are empowered and trained as servant leaders. This is a scenario that we have at Dominion Valley, Haymarket, Virginia. With the cooperation of Mark Finley, Dr. Bob Banks, and Warrenton Church, we have a church that will be designed not only to reach its community, but to become a training center that will allow small churches to learn how to become influential and transformational in their communities.
My wife and I became involved in this project when we moved into the community of Dominion Valley a number of years ago. We had a sense that God was going to do something special in that community. At that time, of course, we didn't know what it was. And then we began to attend the Warrenton Church, and we saw here a small nucleus of people who also had a vision for the surrounding communities. And we became involved because of our passion to see Jesus move powerfully in this area.
This project got started when we moved into the Dominion Valley community, and we saw a church site for sale sign. And as we went by that sign, I said to my husband, this needs to be a Seventh-day Adventist church. And so I began to pray that somehow, some way, we didn't know how, that God would help us to have an Adventist church here in Dominion Valley. And so I began to pray and prayed for 3 years. And then one day I felt impressed to tell my friend from Warrenton about what I was praying about.
Mark mentioned to me one Sabbath, he says, Tommy, he says, there's a church site for sale in Dominion Valley. You think you could get over there and take a look at that and investigate that? So I did. I looked into that, and that's how I became involved.
Dominion Valley and Market Square really are ideal for a church plant. The reason is that Market Square is really the center. It's the hub of activity for the whole community. The property that we're looking at was a property that was going to house a library. So it's right in the center of the activity there in Dominion Valley. Another reason why that piece of property is so significant is because all through Dominion Valley there are people who are unchurched. They don't have a particular church to go to. And so you have this large population base of someplace around 75,000 people that really are, many of them are spiritual seekers.
We're trying to be a community-based church. We want to reach out to the community. We want to find out what are the needs of the community that we can meet with health and various other means so that they can have confidence enough to listen to the gospel and the unique message that we have for these closing hours in Earth's history.
As I was conducting a training program on how to do community outreach and how to have a church for a center of influence, I was teaching this, and a man came up to me, a gentleman came up to me after the meeting, and he said, I prayed last night and God impressed me that I should give you $50,000 for this project. We're a long ways from having the church, but God has really blessed in this project because of praying that God would give us a church in Dominion Valley.
Warrenton Church has really committed the congregation itself, because we will be the congregation that moves to Dominion Valley, as well as the proceeds from this building when we sell this building. So we're giving ourselves and the building.
The vision for this new church is really in 4 specific areas. Number 1, to have a dynamic spiritual community where people come and they are blessed spiritually every Sabbath, midweek meetings, where the Word of God is the very foundation and the Word of God is proclaimed and their lives are transformed. Second, our vision is that the church will be a training center. People will be equipped and trained to go out and use the gifts that God has given them to minister, to serve the community. Thirdly, Our vision is to have a broad-based array of health programs and family life programs and community service programs and Bible study programs coming out from the church. And fourthly, that the church will be an evangelistic, dynamic center of activity where we're reaching out to impact this community for Jesus.
Of course, as any church, there's the challenge of creating an ongoing climate of ministry and evangelism, so that there's an ongoing evangelistic atmosphere in the church where we're constantly reaching out to the community and providing a place where people can come and get their needs met and answers to important questions, and most of all, come to know Christ and be a part of God's last day movement.
One of the unique aspects of this church plant will be the media center. We plan to put a media center in the facility so not only can we stream our services, but we can produce television programs for Adventist networks and possibly public networks throughout the United States. Our vision is large, our goal is great, but our God is bigger.